The Star Forge, an ancient space station of impossible scale, built by the Rakata Infinite Empire thousands of years before the Republic. It did not merely construct ships and weapons. It fed on the dark side of the Force, converting raw stellar matter into infinite war machines. Darth Revan discovered it. Darth Malak nearly conquered the galaxy with it. And in the end, the Jedi destroyed it, believing its evil too great to endure. But what if they had failed? What if the Star Forge was never destroyed, and the Sith Empire that wielded it grew beyond anything the galaxy had ever faced? Welcome to the timeline, where the factory of infinite war never stopped production. To understand the horror of the Star Forge, you must understand what it was. Not a factory. Not a shipyard. A living machine. The Rakata built it using the dark side itself, and over millennia, it developed something approaching consciousness. It hungered. It demanded sacrifice. And in return, it produced warships by the thousand. Battle droids by the million. Weapons, armor, supplies, anything the dark side could dream, the Star Forge could build. Revan found it in the unknown regions, hidden in the Leon system, and recognized its potential immediately. With the Star Forge, a single Sith Lord could challenge the entire Republic. And with the Star Forge operational forever, that Sith Lord would be unstoppable. In the original timeline, the Star Forge was destroyed. Revan, redeemed from the dark side, led a Republic fleet to the Leon system, and assaulted the station. Darth Malak, Revan's former apprentice, commanded the Star Forge's defenses. The battle was devastating. The Star Forge produced warships faster than the Republic could destroy them. But Revan was not merely a warrior. He was the only being who truly understood the Star Forge's nature. He boarded the station, fought through its automated defenses and dark side guardians, and confronted Malak in the heart of the factory. Revan killed Malak, and with his dying breath, Malak acknowledged that Revan had been the true master all along. Revan then used the station's own systems to trigger its destruction. The Star Forge burned, and the galaxy was saved. But what if Revan had not been redeemed? What if the dark side had kept its greatest champion? In this timeline, Revan is not redeemed. When Bastila Shan attempts to turn him back to the light, she failed. Revan's will is too strong, his vision too clear. He sees the Republic as weak, corrupt, and unworthy of survival. He sees the Jedi as blind idealists, who will let the true Sith threat destroy everything. And he sees the Star Forge not as a weapon to be destroyed, but as the tool he needs to forge a new galaxy. Revan kills Bastila Shan, not in anger, but in necessity. He returns to the Star Forge, destroys the Republic fleet that followed him, and begins the true work of conquest. Not as a Sith Lord seeking power, but as a god of war, remaking civilization in his image. With the Star Forge operational and Revan's strategic genius directing it, the Sith fleet grows exponentially. Within a year, Revan commands more warships than the Republic has built in a century. Within 5 years, his fleet outnumbers the Republic Navy 10-1. The Star Forge does not merely produce ships. It improves them. Each generation of Star Forge warships is faster, more heavily armed, and more durable than the last. Revan creates new classes of vessels, world burners that can reduce planets to ash from orbit, planet crushers that can shatter moons with gravitic weapons, and dark side dreadnoughts crewed by Sith assassins who can sense enemies through the Force. The Republic does not merely face defeat. It faces extinction by industrial production. The Republic fights with desperate courage. Jedi Knights lead suicide charges against Star Forge production facilities. Republic commanders sacrifice entire fleets to delay Revan's advance. Ordinary citizens take up arms in defense of worlds that have known peace for 1,000 generations. But courage cannot compensate for mathematics. The Star Forge produces faster than the Republic can destroy. Every victory costs the Republic irreplaceable lives and ships. Every defeat costs Revan nothing but raw materials, and the Star Forge harvests those from the stars themselves. The Republic Senate debates, negotiates, and eventually begs for terms. Revan does not accept surrender. He accepts only conquest. Revan does not merely defeat the Jedi. He hunts them. He understands the Jedi Order better than any Sith Lord in history, because he was once its greatest champion. He knows their tactics, their training, their secret enclaves, and he uses that knowledge to destroy them. One by one, the Jedi Academies fall. Ossus is bombarded from orbit. Dent-1 is occupied by dark side troopers. The Jedi Temple in Coruscant is not destroyed. It is converted into a Star Forge research facility. Where captured Jedi forced to help Revan unlock the station's full potential. Some Jedi resist to the end, dying as martyrs. Others break, joining Revan's new Sith Order out of despair or pragmatism. By the end of the first decade, the Jedi Order is extinct. Not because it was destroyed in battle, but because there was no one left to remember what it stood for. A century after the Star Forge's discovery, the galaxy is unrecognizable. Revan still lives, kept young by the Star Forge's dark side energies and his own immense will. His empire spans from the core worlds to the unknown regions. The Star Forge has produced not just warships, but entire artificial worlds, factory planets, research stations, and fortress systems that serve as the backbone of Revan civilization. The Rakata's infinite empire has been reborn, but it is more terrible than the original. Where the Rakata ruled through technology, Revan rules through perfection. His empire is not cruel. It is efficient. Every citizen has a purpose. Every world has a function. And the Star Forge, still hungry, still producing, is the heart that pumps life through the entire system. This is not tyranny. This is infinity given form. But the Star Forge's power comes with a price that Revan, for all his genius, cannot escape. The station feeds on the dark side, and the dark side demands darkness. Revan's empire requires constant war to justify the Star Forge's production. Without enemies to fight, the factory would turn on its own creators. So Revan creates enemies. He engineers conflicts between his own sectors. He seeds rebellion on peaceful worlds just to have something to crush. He looks beyond the galaxy, preparing fleets for intergalactic conquest, because the Star Forge must always produce, and production must always serve war. Revan has become not a conqueror, but a prisoner of the very machine that made him a god. The Star Forge represents the ultimate horror of the Star Wars universe. Not a villain, but a system. A machine that converts life into war, or into empire, and empire into infinite hunger. Revan, who sought to use the Star Forge to save the galaxy from the true Sith threat, became its greatest victim. He did not conquer the galaxy. The Star Forge conquered him, using his genius as the fuel for its eternal production. In our timeline, the Star Forge was destroyed, and the galaxy was spared his fate. In this timeline, the factory still burns, still hungers, still produces, and somewhere, in the heart of infinite darkness, Revan still commands. Not because he wants to, but because the Star Forge demands it. Thank you for watching. This has been Akvara Studio. Subscribe for more dark timelines from the Old Republic era